Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel Evolve with Monette. For those of you guys that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath, and today the message is simple. I've been taking notes, and we're going to get to work on this fine morning. If you're feeling frustrated, then it's not for you. That's what I was channeling when I was doing my work and my kind of meditation work as I was getting started with my day. If you're feeling frustrated, then it's not for you. That's something that you really need to understand. In any job, relationship, situation, if you are on a new regiment, workout plan, whatever the case may be, if you are feeling high levels of frustration, now with a workout plan, there it's a little tricky, right? Because we will naturally feel resistance to shifting or changing our behavior. I think of Stephen Pressfield and The Art of War, which is the resistance that we feel to procrastinate when we're creatives, right? But if you are in a connection, if you're in a relationship, and it starts to really get hairy and it's harder and harder to have understanding or to see eye to eye, and you feel like you're doing everything you can do, then probably you've done enough. And that's a big signal from the universe that you are supposed to move in a new direction. What happens is relationships work until they don't. And that is, I remember having a really interesting interaction with a jinn, a genie of sorts, an archetype of a genie. And that was their favorite saying is, it works until it doesn't. And it was something I was able to say to them as I was ready to leave. And I realized that it was not going to be something that worked for me or that person at all. It works until it doesn't, that part. When you start to realize that you're getting frustrating and things are getting harder and harder, and it's more and more difficult to communicate or to have your needs met or have any level of reciprocity where maybe there once was and it's diminishing. No, it doesn't mean you should run at the first sign of trouble in a relationship, but it means that you guys know exactly what I'm saying. When it gets to the point when it becomes unbearable and intolerable and you're like, I cannot do this any longer, that is a clear sign that it's time to go. And sometimes we'll override that and we overstay our welcome. And not every relationship that you have is supposed to last you for the rest of your life. And if they're causing you emotional strife and if it's a drain on your soul and personality, then it's certainly not a place that you should be. And your angels are trying to communicate to you actually and get you out of there, because what happens is the towers will begin to fall and cause even more despair. Now, this could even be with your health. Sometimes we'll get a warning and we know we need to go to the doctor. We might ignore it, and we ignore it and ignore it. So it's a little piece of gravel that's thrown, then a pebble, then a stone, then it's a boulder, then it's an avalanche. And now we have a situation that's like, you need life-saving whatever, instead of it being, this is, preventative treatment. So in connections, in your health, in job and career situations, if you're dealing with situations with people where it feels like, my God, I keep beating my head against the wall, you probably are beating your head against the wall. Now, one of the signs that I've got to work with up close and see do this repeatedly is Sagittarius energy. They're renowned when they're in a lower vibration for literally making the same mistake over and over and over. My Sagittarius clients, God bless their hearts, over and over and over, hitting their head against the same brick wall. And I like to learn from observation. So I don't want to take that wrong turn. I don't want to fall. I instead choose to observe and then kind of try to do a little bit better. But listen, guys, just because you do a little bit better doesn't mean you get it right, because that's why we incarnate into this life. It is to have lessons. It is to not get things right. It is to have to make a mistake once or twice. Hopefully not more than that, though, because if you're in this constant state of redoing your lessons, then how can you ever grow? And that's really what we're called to do, is to have growth. Anyway, that's the message that you need to know today. We'll keep it quick. If you are feeling frustrated, I'm looking at my notes here. If you're feeling frustrated, then this is no longer for you. That frustration is a sign that this doesn't feel right for you. Because, and once in my bestie say this to me, when I was in a really toxic relationship several years ago. And she said, loving someone shouldn't be this hard. If you guys are on the same page and if there's communication, loving is easy. And I was so grateful for her words because it helped me to extricate myself from that connection, because I realized that what I had was someone who was purposely, maliciously going out of the way to not be cooperative with me. And I mean, now I could care less about the situation. I'm so grateful for the way it played out, and I wouldn't take nothing from my journey now. But I think what I was supposed to learn wasn't about stay in the heartache forever and mourn that person or give a damn about their life. I don't. It was to to understand this lesson to teach you guys. If you're feeling frustrated, open your eyes, because there is intel and information, and your angels sometimes are trying to help you avoid a cataclysmic demise. That's literally what I was just channeling to tell you guys. It is not always about it's not always about staying to work it out infinitesimally. Of course, if you have a partner that's on board and wants to work with you, then by all means contact someone like me, contact your therapist, do the work, investigate it. But you should notice that both parties give a fuck. Okay, that part. And relationships are tough sometimes, and miscommunications happen, and distances and gulfs grow. But if both parties aren't trying or acknowledging, like, I do care about you, I want to be here, I want to make this work, I want to make sure that you're meeting my needs, I want to make sure that I'm meeting your needs, whatever, guys. And I'm going to tell you, no relationship is perfect, including mine. I have many relationships in my life, and I can't say that any one of them is perfect, but what I can say is that I have an integral dedication to and commitment to work with each person as long as they're working with me. But as soon as I see that someone's not working with me, or there's not like a reachable solution, or there isn't a negotiation that we can come to the table with, I'm all about a good negotiation, because believe it or not, our relationships are far more transactional than you might think. People do have expectations of you, whether they ever speak them or not. And the longer you are with somebody, the more you'll understand that. And maybe I may sound a little jaded, but in the work that I do, it's something that I have to understand so that I can counsel you. I had to get a grasp on that. I got lessons early in my life about how transactional relationships are. Whether it was really toxic and I was learning it from a cult, or it was learning it from a lover, or I was learning it from a friend, we are transactional. Now, the way that you maintain healthier relationships is to go in understanding that and negotiate from the driver's seat, and negotiate from your position of what you need or what you want. And if those needs are not getting met, and if you have someone that is like actively working against you, or being just unreasonable or uncooperative, or any form, strain, or variant of narcissist, malignant, covert, you name it, then that is not a game that you can play, sis. That is not a game that you can play, sir. Those people are not for you, and you're not supposed to stay there beating your head against the wall repeatedly until it's bloody. You are supposed to realize that, oh, the lesson I was supposed to learn was to set myself free, not to stay here and be bludgeoned by their stupidity. Do not be bludgeoned by people's stupidity. And the first inkling that you will know of that is frustration. In my human design, the way that I identify that I'm out of alignment is bitterness. I start to feel fucking bitter. I start to be very frustrated, and not even frustrated. I would say bitter. Like, I'm upset. I'm upset, like Drake said. And so that what happens then is I realize I'm totally out of alignment with whatever this is. And so for you, it may not be bitterness, that's very specific, but it could be frustration. And I think that that is a really safe, overarching blanket to put on a lot of us. That's a feeling we all can relate to, is frustrated. Like when someone's just not cooperating with you, whatever the cooperation may be. Because here's the deal about our relationships: we all come in knowing what role we are to fulfill, and if you're not getting your needs met to some degree, then that will become a bitter pill, and resentment will build. And I counsel so many divorcees and so many people in relationships that are not heading towards divorce that have that resentment starting to bubble up. And let me tell you something, it comes out somewhere. So if you don't think that the person that you're in the connection with wants to work with you, then maybe stop overthinking it. Go to one of my shorts here and find a short that resonates with you and listen to it. And pay attention to your intuition. Because if you're ruminating and overthinking something, chances are there's something amiss. And it is a clear indication that you are becoming frustrated. So there's valuable intel there, and it doesn't mean that you're supposed to stay there forever, okay? I'm repeating myself now. You get it. If you are frustrated, then it's not for you. No, you're not a quitter. That's not what we do. You know exactly what I mean. When it becomes laborious, when it becomes labor intensive, when it becomes overwhelming and all consuming, when it starts to affect your health, autoimmune issues start to crop up, you have stomach issues, you have migraines, you have headaches. This is what I'm saying to you guys. This is the energy that you need to pay attention to, because it means that something that you are trying to hold on so tightly to is absolutely, unequivocally, and literally not for you. So good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time, guys. We'll continue to evolve together.